Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for January 20th through 27th, 2025. Well, we are continue to feel the intensity of the times that we're living in. What we just experienced over these last few days has been Venus having her turn coming in to the Jupiter square Saturn. So Venus squared up with Jupiter on the 14th and 15th of January, and then just had a conjunction with Saturn on the 18th. Now, this is a really powerful message because we're still feeling this as we have this massive shift of energy over this next couple of weeks with the sun moving into the sign of Aquarius. So the sun moved into the sign of Aquarius today on the 20th. And so that means that the sun is coming into a conjunction with Pluto tomorrow. So it's very powerful to have the Sun-Pluto conjunction at 1 degree Aquarius just before Pluto moves to 2 degrees on the 30th of January. And so it's like Pluto moving, because Pluto made it just barely to 2 degrees last year. And so now Pluto moving to 2 degrees is speaking about, okay, Pluto's actually in Aquarius and not going to retrograde back into Capricorn anymore. And the 2 degree marker is kind of getting really moving in and settling in and moving towards new territory. We're all moving into new territory. We can feel it. Everything is speaking to this. And yet we've got that same familiar stuck feeling. But let's just talk this through, because we have had incredibly intense squares, energy of squares with this Jupiter square Saturn that was exact on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But we are feeling it for the whole month pretty much of December. And so we've just had this like really intense squeezing time. At the same time, we've got Mars retrograde and we had Mercury retrograde. So we're Mars is still retrograde in Cancer. Mars is now at 24 degrees Cancer and will move back to 22 degrees Cancer, turning direct not until February 24th on the at 17 degrees Cancer. So it's very powerful because, again, all of our personal planets are involved in intense squares. Because Venus just had her turn in this last week, we were feeling that square. So Venus in Pisces in conjunction and square with Saturn. Square with Jupiter in Gemini and conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. So the square with Gemini is about this unspoken voice of the feminine. Nobody is listening to her. Even the people who speak about this and call themselves, stewards of the feminine, are not listening to the feminine. How do we listen to the feminine? The feminine is our body, our emotions, our intuitions. And so when we talk to our body, when we talk to the mother, we're talking to our body. We can talk to the mother through our body. Her body is our body. And when we talk to her, she says, why won't you listen to me? We'll take in whatever news feed they want to give us, and trigger us into all kinds of emotional response so they can feed on our energy. When will we listen to her? When are we going to go get our news from the source? So it's very, very powerful, these Venus transits right now, and Venus in Pisces, because Venus in Pisces is speaking to, wait a minute. Back at the beginning of the Piscean age, the feminine got cut out of the story, and all of the teachings, the miracles, the mysteries, the healing, all of this feminine energy that we work with in a male or a female body, but it got buried and hidden and stolen from us, and we were manipulated into keeping it buried and hidden, keeping it out of the wrong hands. We kept it hidden even from ourselves. And yet we have this wisdom, this knowledge, this technology right in our very own body. And guess what? We're entering into the year of the snake. We're coming up to Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is marked in China on the day after the new moon in Aquarius. And the new moon in Aquarius happens on the 29th, here in the US, 30th. And then, so Chinese New Year is celebrated on February 1st this year. And we're moving into the year of the snake. From the dragon to the snake. The dragon has been about finding our inner power and finding our inner strength. And now the snake is about transformation. The snake is, the message around the year of the snake is that, one, we're kicking the reptilian programmers, controllers, stealers, rapers, the sucking our energy, parasites off the planet. Okay. I mean, we're healing the reptilian programming and from our DNA that's been keeping us in the reptilian brain, you know. And so they go together because the snake is also about our own transformation into our true potential. It's about the Kundalini awakening, these deep mysteries and secrets of the divine feminine that were so suppressed and hidden, go all the way back to ancient Egyptian times. And the goddess Isis taught us how to access this energy inside our body. This energy isn't just for feeling good and having, a psychedelic experience, although that is part of it. Our pineal gland, when activated, secretes oxytocin and DMT. But it's not about that. It's about a connection back to source. It's about feeling back in the love of wholeness. And so the Kundalini awakening is awakening of the technologies and the divine feminine in each of us. And the technologies, the secrets that have been hidden from us. So our whole history, our whole reality, of course, needs to be completely rewritten if we're going to put Mary back in, and that's what we're doing. Ultimately, that's what this is all about. You guys can run, you can hide, and all the businesses, all the structures, all the organizations of this whole world have to come back to the mother. And you can see it in the language. You can see it in the shift that's happening publicly with the public ceremonies in the United States today. We're turning back to her. The goddess Columbia honored, at the top of the rotunda. That's who it is. And she's depicted as Native American with a plume on her head. The Kundalini rising. America is a goddess. And if we go back to the history that hasn't been told to us, that's been stolen from us, and the resets again and again, America is ancient Tartaria as well. And there's so much bounty and beauty and just incredible power that's being uncovered as we reawaken America and reawaken the world. So this is really powerful because Chiron is now direct. Chiron turned direct at the end of December and still at 19 degrees. Won't make it till 20 to 20 degrees until the 16th of February. Now that's the day after Saturn comes out of retrograde shadow. So this is kind of the energy of this next period of time. It's kind of like the slots are moving. The water, it's almost like a dam and locks, and the water all can't flow until it's all opened up. But this is opened, this opened, this opened, this opened, this closed, this opened. And so there's just so much shifting, speaking to the massive, massive shift that we're in. And there's nothing that can stop it. And we are at the edge, at the verge, because we've got all these things. We've got all these passes over the Aries point and everything pointing to a whole new era, whole new reality, whole new timeline. And yet we're in retrograde. 6 months of retrograde, So we're in a strange time right now because we still have Mars retrograde. And, but just next week, Venus will be going into retrograde shadow. Venus will be taking a retrograde starting on March 2nd in Aries, and then we'll retrograde back into Pisces. And that's why Venus will make 3 passes over that Aries point of 0 degrees Aries, saying this is a new beginning, and the feminine leads the way. Now, the other thing is that Venus and Mercury is going to do the same retrograde in the same area and then go back and meet up with the North Node. The North Node, the nodes of the moon just shifted signs. So this is kind of the beginning of this whole dealio. I mean, maybe Pluto moving back into Aquarius at the end of the year. And but the North Node moved into Pisces, South Node into Virgo as of January 12th. And so that means that the North Node just went over that Aries point. So when Venus takes this retrograde and Mercury takes the retrograde, they're going to be going back and connecting with the nodes of the moon, the North Node opposite the South Node. So it's saying not only is it 3 times over the Aries point for both of these planets, 3 times connecting with the North Node, it's, this is saying the Aries point, North Node conjunctions, it's go time, right? So that's kind of the energy we're feeling, but it's glitchy because we're still in retrograde, because it's almost like we can't handle the forward motion. So we've got to be held back in the reins a little bit. And that's what these next couple of months about. So don't lose heart. Don't get too impatient. There is a wellspring, a massive, massive fire hose of information coming that will be so shocking and so transformative for people. And so that is really what this astrology is saying. It's like, yeah, we're making the leap right now, but the retrogrades and this restart, we have to like really rework some things before we can move forward in this completely different way. So we have to remember today is such a powerful day because it really is this turn. It's just like, okay, now there's no return. Now there's no return. The sun moving over into the sign of Aquarius says there's no return because Pluto has been in Aquarius since 2008, and Pluto moved out of Aquarius, but Pluto moved out of Capricorn. Excuse me. Pluto's been a Capricorn since 2008, and then Pluto moved out of Capricorn, but then Venus was in Capricorn, and now the sun's in Capricorn, and Mercury's. So Mercury will be in Capricorn until the 29th of January. So that after that, it's like a weird vacuum effect because there's no planets in Capricorn, and Pluto's been there since 2008. So it's kind of a feeling of like all of a sudden this pressure is released. Now, the pressure energetically for supernova souls has been resistance and blockages to being able to manifest and receive. Because everything's working against you as you're the more committed you are to the truth of who you are in the light, the more it's worked against you. This is what's changing. This is why we have to go whiplash, because we're going from scarcity and poverty to abundance. And that's everything in this world coming to the aid of the goddess again. Everything coming back around to what really matters. The source of life, the creation energy, the support of life-giving support to life. That's the new paradigm. It's so simple and it's so beautiful and it feels so good. It's an energetic field. We bring people back. You feel into this energy of connection with Mother Earth. It just makes so much sense why the forces worked so hard to disconnect us and then feel so guilty about that disconnection and shameful, like we did something horribly wrong and our earth is punishing us. That's like a totally false patriarchal paradigm, false God, fake, fake, fake. It's all fake. Everything's fake. Our history's fake. Our science is fake. Our healthcare system is fake. There's no care and there's no health. Those people they're so irritated and upset right now. I'm so sorry for the industry that has to go through this, But what we're doing is we're claiming back our sovereignty in our autonomy in our bodies as nations and the earth. from the infiltration and the invasion. We didn't know this war that we've been in. And the war took hold on a cellular level, with infiltration into our body. And now we're in the glorious, glorious chapter where we take back our body and our earth. And it's so beautiful. So just stay in that energy. Most important right now, she says, be in the energy of what you want to create. Be in the energy of what you want to see. Don't let them pull you into any dramas, narratives, paradigms, or propagandas. You got the news. You are the news now. Because like we said, everything must come back to support her, to be with her. Just it's magnetic. And so we stand at the ready to receive that level of support to do her work. And that's the rearranging that's happening in the psyche. Now we're feeling this so huge because the sun is coming into conjunction with Pluto tomorrow, right? It's like, oh, sun in Aquarius, cool. And then it's like, boom, 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 and it's just this reverberation of that Pluto and Capricorn. And it's kind of like, oh, really? You guys think you can handle your freedom? Wait for the next trap, because we're going to have to come save you from it. Why don't we create a fake scary alien invasion and then we'll come save you from it? We'll create a fake nuclear war, we'll come save you from it. We'll create a fake pandemic and then we'll come save you from it with more disastrous treatments that you can even imagine. And so every day I can feel the conscious souls on this earth just becoming more and more present with this concept that we are the creators of our reality. We're so powerful and just we only have the moment, right? So this is why they want to keep us constantly this next date, this next date, this next date, and like the trauma of the past, trigger, because you can only create from the moment. Now, you can only create from the moment when you're in alignment with the mother, with Mother Earth. That's the only way you can create as a supernova soul, And so that place of alignment with her, maybe this is a key word with the planetary alignment we have lining up, like in the sky. The planetary lining up in the sky is the planets in Cancer, Gemini, and Pisces, and Taurus. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. And so that's the end of the zodiac and the beginning of the zodiac. Just like these retrogrades are going over that Aries point. And it's wild because it's like we don't know if we're going backwards or forwards. We've been stuck in an eddy, and it's this picture of at the water, if you're in, say a river or a creek, and there's the water will pull into an area, an eddy, and then in that swirl, the water will go both directions. So from that place, you don't know where the river's even going, right? So you're like, okay, I'll just go this way for a while. And this is where it's been so, so difficult because we're being asked to trust the mother. On the one hand, we've given our total power and control over to horrible, horrible entities, right? So how do we come back into trust? With going with the flow. And that's the alignment. So the alignment is that you don't ever have to think about what's next, how to plan, how to figure, how to solve, how to heal, what to do, what's right, what's wrong. You don't ever have to worry about that ever again because you're in alignment with her, what's right and good and true. It's a vibrational field in your whole being, and your body won't let you do otherwise. This is who you've been the whole time. Does it start making sense now why it's been so difficult for you? Because you have been in alignment and everything has been fighting against your alignment and you never let go. And what if the world is coming back into alignment with you? So this is the energy of this week, realigning with the mother, because what happened yesterday, the day before, Saturn going over Pisces, Saturn, Venus going over Saturn in Pisces, and it's saying, boom, it's a mother's timeline now. We just had that big square. It's like something's got to be adjusted, something's got to be adjusted, something's got to be adjusted, and that's Jupiter in Gemini, but it's retrograde. And we know that what's really been suppressed ultimately in their voice and our expression is the feminine. The what's right, good, true, the justice, the healing, the love, the compassion, the intuition, the miracles. And so we all have this within us and we're accessing it. And so, again, so this is what, now it's weird because this is on multiple levels of our world. We've all been suppressed, supernova souls over many lifetimes, with the expression of what's inside of you. We've been suppressed in this life, particularly over the last few years, not able to talk about anything with anybody. And it's like those who have not been able to say their peace of mind, to speak their truth, to speak with rational, calm, just talking about things, without being attacked and reacted to in a violent way energetically because of your beliefs. Do you see what they've done to us? No more divide and conquer. When we all come back to mom, there's nothing to fight over anymore. And so there's this energy of unavoidable correction back to the world we know is possible, the world we know we want to see, what life was meant to be. What life was meant to be is written in the Gaia codes, in the highest mountains, in the deepest caves, untouched waters, and it's also inside of us in our DNA. So coming back to this energy of allowing ourselves to be in the energy of what we want to create. But we found that the ego creations, even if it seems spiritual, because I want to help people with it, but it's still a construct and an agenda. Constructs and agendas, I don't know, it's weird. It's like they can't align. The way time is going to be moving in her new world that we get to be a part of and ride on her back, our magical turtle mama, you can't plan it like before. It's too dynamic. Time is alive, we're not trapped anymore. And so it's a completely different way of moving in the world and manifesting. And the manifesting and creating comes from alignment first. And then you don't have to worry about when or what or how. It just unfolds perfectly. Can we love ourselves enough to come back to her and let her care for us in this way? That's the journey that Mars is on. The wounded warrior going back to the mother, falling back into her arms. Mother, I lost the battle. And she said, honey, let's clean up that blood spill. No more. No more battling. Everything that's worked against the life-giving force is now coming back to work with the life-giving force. That's why you are in such an important position, having been purified by the fires of life, a new leader leading us into new possibilities, and literally developing and executing programs that can help people finally. Let's get on with it. And this is the feeling. So it's hard because it's like, like we've been waiting too long. We're pent up. We're frustrated. We've been silenced, but we're still in retrograde, and we have to completely rearrange because we don't know how to be free. And we don't know how to trust again. We don't know how to stay in alignment, right? And that's what this energies are doing. It's like, I mean, it kind of feels like there's been dark things that have been going on. Of course, I've talked about technological interference, and there's all kinds of weird stuff that has, for supernova soul, created a situation that it's kind of like your soul has been abducted and kept out of your body. Like you can be there, but not fully and completely. And what's happening is we are landing home, who we really are, new earth. And that's where this sun Pluto conjunction at 1 degree Aquarius, it's the oneness. What are we aligning to? The oneness, that we're all connected. And if you're still going to use technologies for harm and go against life and mother, then you're going to have to go somewhere else. Get on board. Because it's the only way she's going to go. It's the only way the ship will move. And now it's just about praying and waiting and meditating and singing and dancing and celebrating and being in the energy of what you want to create, which is Earth the way it's meant to be in the original codes, her dream. It's written and we haven't even gotten there. We haven't even started. And we have to step up and claim our golden age. And so that's what this time is about. So what we're feeling right now is still Venus triggering that Jupiter square Saturn. And the next one is we're starting to feel Mercury. So Mercury in his retrograde in Sag had 3 triggers of that Jupiter square Saturn, right? Making a T-square, mutable T-square. Now, but at the same, so Jupiter square Saturn peaked out at the end of the year, as did the Chiron opposite Black Moon Lilith. But Chiron has turned direct now, and it's going to actually come back into opposition with Black Moon Lilith, and will stay close this whole time. So we're having this powerful, or actually Mars will remain in square to Black Moon Lilith through the whole time of turning direct, or with Chiron. And so the Chiron, Mars square Chiron we started feeling this. Mars is having, okay, sorry. So right now, Mercury is coming into square with Chiron. Mercury is in Capricorn, coming into the square with Chiron, coming into a square with Black Moon Lilith. The square with Chiron is the 21st, 22nd. Square with Chiron is the 24th. So it's like the 20th through the 25th that we'll be feeling this. Because Mercury had 3 passes through that Jupiter square Saturn, but not interacting yet with the Black Moon Lilith opposite Chiron. So Mercury will be triggering this from the 20th through the 25th, and then Mars will be coming into this to trigger the square. And that's really interesting because Mars and Mercury will be directly opposite of each other on the 24th of January. So that's kind of the energy of this lining up that's going on, is that means we have a cardinal T-square between Black Moon Lilith in Libra, Chiron in Aries, Mercury in Capricorn, and Mars in Cancer. And Mars is retrograde. So it's like, go back to the mother in order to claim your freedom, Chiron and Aries, from bad relationships. Chiron, Libra, Black, secret bad relationships, right? So the whole thing with the bad relationships that have kept us as in a prison planet is that they're secret. So that's what this time is about. And it's powerful that Mars in the T-square this time, because of the retrograde, will go back to 17 degrees and stay in square to Chiron through April, the first week of April, basically. We start feeling that on the 25th of January. So square, T-square opposition, it's just continues to be an incredibly powerful play. The squares are pushing us, they're tension, it's the correction. You can't keep going the way you're going. And so much of this has to do with that Mars retrograde in Cancer, and must go back to the mother, the wounded warrior. And come out from the battle, which is where we understand the power of our consciousness, the power of physics, the power of manifest reality, that it's all in duality. So when we're playing out duality, we're manifesting duality. But now the duality is beginning, everything that's coming at us is beginning to be transformed and transmuted to actually work for us. So we're using the tension, like this Black Moon Lilith opposite Chiron. It's like a tension to be able to break through, to be able to transmute duality entirely and come back to one mind. So it's a very powerful energy because the Venus just went over Saturn in Pisces, and then the Sun has moved into Aquarius today, conjunct with Pluto tomorrow. And then we come up to a new moon next week on the 29th. We've got a new moon in Aquarius, and that is the marker of Chinese New Year. So the new moon is January 29th at 5:36 a.m. in Mountain Time, early in the morning. So we'll have the activation on Tuesday, January 28th. That new moon happens at 9 degrees 51 minutes of Aquarius. So almost 10 degrees. And Jupiter in Gemini is at 11 degrees. Jupiter turns direct at 11 degrees on the 4th of February. So that Jupiter turning direct on February 4th, we talked about as this flood of information, the coming forward, the expression, like, okay, now we have a voice and we're going to use it. We've been waiting a long time. We're not going to just sit here and not use our voice now. We've been given a voice, and we're not going to tolerate the behavior that won't listen to the voice, the programming. We have a platform. The goddess is back, and the truth must be told. And all that's been suppressed within us. It's like we've been putting up, and so it's like kind of like there's a group of people that are like really struggling to awaken, to learn, to understand, to grow, to heal. And then there's a group of people that have, who knows, just more affected, less evolved, less interested. And it's like those people are designed, those section of people have been programmed through these technologies to basically harass and handle us, So we're not allowed to talk about anything because we don't want to upset anybody. And it's like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm not going to go there. And why would you argue with someone who's just so stuck in their ways that wouldn't even be open to anything? Why would you even bother, right? But we've shut up enough now. Like we're done. There is a lot of people incredibly frustrated at not being able to speak about simple, reasonable, factual things, and this is energy. We also haven't been able to speak our truth as supernova souls. We haven't been able to sing our songs, dance our dance. We haven't been able to do our healing and be received for who we are and our power. All of what's in us, thousands of years, many lifetimes, is ready to come forward at full throttle once Jupiter turns direct in Gemini, and so that's February 4th. Right? So we've got this very powerful kind of string of events happening at the same time we're in the middle of just retrograde. And so it's just glitchy, push-pull, try to be patient, try to take the opportunity of everything that's coming at you, understanding that we're in the mirror. And it's a rapid time of correction and healing. And so take it, step into the fire. Say, what do I need to see here? What do I need to know here? What do I need to do here? Mother, I'm with you. You're with me. I'm doing your work. You have got my back. I'm walking in the mantle of your protection. And what do I need to see? What do I need to know? What do I need to do here? Because like we said, you don't really need to know or plan because it changes moment by moment in this new paradigm. And if you're attached to a certain way you're going to do it tomorrow or a few minutes later, then you might miss this amazing miracle opportunity. We don't want to miss any more miracles. Okay? Like this is Venus in Pisces because we're talking about rewriting the Piscean age. So Venus just went over Saturn. Saturn's direct, but won't come out of retrograde shadow until the middle of February. So that's a very powerful marker. But Venus coming along at this time and triggering the square and being like, come on, Saturn, we got to tell the truth. We got to talk about the love. We got to reconnect people to mom by telling the truth. And it's like, come on, where it's a restart to the timeline, and it's the divine feminine timeline. Now, Venus goes on the 27th, Venus comes into sextile with Uranus. And that's a very powerful energy because Uranus is just a couple degrees away from Neptune, still in a loose sextile there. And so goes from triggering that hard square of like we're up against the wall and something's got to give into this sextile with Uranus, and then a conjunction with Neptune, linking together the magic of Neptune, a new dream in Pisces, completing in Pisces, saying we're getting out of the nightmare and we move into a new dream. And then sextile Uranus is saying it's an activation. The new dream is an activation of our higher power. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Uranus and Taurus is like, do you deserve it? So this Cancer full moon that we just had was actually in relationship to Uranus, the sun in trine to Uranus, and the moon in sextile to Uranus. So now Venus is coming into this and telling us it's an awakening of a new dream. Now it's powerful that Venus meets up with Neptune, the awakening of the new dream. On the 2nd of February. On the 1st of February, which is also Chinese New Year. So, Year of the Snake is uncovering these deep mysteries of the feminine, which is advanced technologies we haven't been told about, the true history of our culture, and mysteries, miracles of healing, and the love that can bring us back together into oneness, into wholeness, and the cleansing, the purification, and the purge of Earth. That's the deal with the South Node having moved into Virgo. Virgo is sort through it, sort it out, clean it up, purify, organize. And so in this case, we're organizing the past because the South Node is what's holding us back from the past. And so it's like, how can you purify it if you don't look at it? This is the thing. How can we heal this illness of our society if we don't see it? So the next few months are about massive disclosure. And it makes sense that, I thought that opposition was over between Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, but Chiron will catch back up to Black Moon Lilith after after now that he's out of retrograde, and they'll come back into that opposition. And so the Mars square Chiron will last and square with Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, like I said, for the next couple of months, all through this whole retrograde thing. So this whole season, we got 12 times, we said 9 times passes of planets over the Aries point in just over a few months. And then to have this opposition of Black Moon Lilith and in Libra and Aries, Chiron and Aries last for 3-4 months. It's time to clean it up. Put that with the South Node, in Virgo. It's a rebirth. The Virgin is rebirthing us, right? That's why we have to come back to the mother. It's only through her that we can be reborn. Do you get it? Everything we call God, everything we call spiritual is her. Because the feminine is a manifest world. She's the body. She's the life force. She's the current, and then that can be stimulated by external forces. Yeshua himself, all the teachings of Jesus are the teachings of the mother. Every single one. And we know that these cultures that hid and carried these teachings from the beginning of time, like the Essene cultures that supported Jesus to come, at that time, Oh, we're goddess worshippers. Yeah, they pretended to be Sufis or, all these different religions and Jewish and Christian, but they were actually goddess worshiping because they had these direct connection to the Isis teachings. And so what Jesus was really bringing forward was the mother's teachings. And so it's really wild because it's like in that time, it was like a man, Yeshua, bringing us back to the mother. And now it's the mother we have to come back to get back to God, to get back to a whole different version of God, like, and kind of like, so we have to rework our whole reality. But the Yeshua energy was fighting for the mother, and everything you've done through your lifetimes, every time you're on a battlefield or doing some crazy stuff that you've done in all your past lives, running for your life and hiding the secrets, it was all for her. It was all for her. And she was cut out of the story. We're just stuck at the edge of the cliff. Mom's trying to catch us and we can't acknowledge she exists, see? Because when you talk to her, she's kind of like, gosh, everybody just wants to take from me all I offer. Nobody wants to just even acknowledge me or hang out with me or listen to me or talk to me. And we do this when we're in nature. We can have an opportunity, and it's happening more and more, where you'll see if you're in this energy and you're doing the work, like the animals, the plants, the energies respond to you. This is the feminine. The feminine responds, and the energies respond to the feminine because everything she touches changes. Healing is movement. Energy is movement. And this is what they've ultimately tried to suppress, is the healing and the energy. And we're cut off from source. We're cut off from creation energy. We're cut off from this feeling of the mother. We're cut off from our own ability to heal ourselves. Then we can be dependent on a system. See how it's all got to fall? It's a glorious demolition. We haven't even seen the beginning of it. All the structures of our world. They've got to come down. You cannot put a Band-Aid on that. It's and when are we going to face the music on this? It's kind of like we're watching a facade, and the facade of the building is still there. The rest of it is burned down. And it's like, well, when are we going to actually talk about the fact that the facade is burning now? And so I think this is where we're at. It's a very uncomfortable time because we're all coming back into the flow of life. The flow of energy's coming back. The healing's coming back. The life force is coming back. And when that happens, okay, so this is the whole point of homeopathy. Classical homeopathy, you're trying to find one remedy in nature, plant, mineral, or animal, or substance that is going to be match the symptom picture of the patient, and then that triggers a response in the vital force. So it's like these signatures in nature. You're just like, okay, there's a set of symptoms that fit this. Like the body's saying these things, and then the substance has the same signature, the same vibration. Now that energy is stored in the water in homeopathy through dilution and succussion. So taking 1 drop of the original mother tincture and putting it into 100 drops or 10 drops or whatever the dilution is, shaking it up. And so then the water has an imprint of this medicine, of this signature. And then when that remedy is taken by the person, that vibrational signature of the substance is resonant, right? A mirror. And it says to the body, hey, this is what's going on. Boom, And then the body goes, oh, gong, 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 gong. It's like a road map to health. The way the healing happens, though, is that the homeopathic remedy triggered the vital force to move. Our self-correcting healing force right in our very own body. No wonder the forces have been so against homeopathy for so long. So when you do this, and say a person has been really suppressed, either physically, mentally, emotionally, and, just say you've had a bunch of creams you've been putting on your whole life to hide this little psoriasis, the psoriasis might come back. Because it's like, hey, you haven't been listening to me. I'm a symptom. I have a message. Why are we not listening to the earth? Why are we not talking to the earth? She's everything to us. Why can't we fall back in love with her and base our whole society and religion and everything on that? Because when you feel into this and you know her and you love her, and when we're connected to the earth, we're resonant with the earth. She fortifies our electromagnetic field. It's like we come into structure with her, and we're walking in her love, and that love exudes from us and heals, fixes, corrects harmoniously and completely, all on its own. We just have to channel, get out of the way, be present, just keep this connection going. And that's kind of what happens with the remedy. Once a homeopathic remedy gets the vital force to kick into gear, it just happens. The healing just happens, and it's miracles. You'll have something from years ago, a mark on your, come up and show you it's coming up and it's healing, So that's what we're going through. But if somebody's been in a lot of suppression, you have to be really careful with homeopathy, because it's about lifting off those layers of suppression. So there could be an emotional release, there could be a skin rash, or something that happens that's showing you that energy is leaving the body. And so this place we're in, trying to heal a completely suppressed nation and consciousness that doesn't want to be healed, wants to stay in sickness. We've been programmed to think that movement of energy is the disease itself. The movement of energy is the healing, right? So we see the symptoms and it's like, oh my God. And this happens every time. People take homeopathic remedy and say, oh, I've got this old pattern. I'm going back into this old chronic pattern. It's horrible. It's like, well, let's just take a break. Take a few deep breaths, get some rest, drink some water, see how you feel later. Wow. So the body has to go into the pattern in order to release the pattern. And I don't know why, I don't plan what I'm going to say here. We're channeling it all together for whatever you need to hear right now, right? But this is important, I guess, and because this is a metaphor for what's happening right now, is that we've been in intense suppression and the energies are beginning to flow. And so this next few months is about managing that process. And for us, it's like, how do you open the gates back up to the abundance? How do you open your heart back up to the love? How do you say yes to vibrationally attaining what you have been working so hard to do for lifetimes? Like, we got to feel worthy. We got to feel ready. We got to feel capable. We've got to take care of ourselves in a radical way right now, because who else can lead this charge, supernovas? Who else is still standing in their body and knows who they are? Very few people. That's why you've gone through hell and back. And was it a test? And have you passed? I don't know. What can we get on with it now? Like, it's because it's like, it's enough of like seeing and visualizing and praying and loving, and get up the next day and they stole it again. You've been abducted. Time travel. Is time travel really abduction? Is there really time travel? The only way out of this weird situation we're in is one time. And there we go. There's the validation again. We have to come back to the oneness, and that's what mom does. If we're all connected to her and in love and in conscious communication, nothing can go wrong. We own it all the resources, the perfect weather, just the harmonization. So I guess that's a big message right now coming through her, is that there's dramatic changes and healing and corrections coming, and you are the harmonizer. You can harmonize everything that's happening around you. You've been perfectly trained and perfectly prepared over many lifetimes, and step up into your power. You're going to have opportunity after opportunity. And I'm kind of seeing a picture of that. And I think, yeah, wow, that's how can we do that if we're not cared for and loved in our own being by ourselves? Like, stop all of the struggle, Put down the weapons and start taking care of yourself and loving yourself, because you have to stand in that abundance, stand in the healing power, stand in the free energy, and stand in the abundance, the money, the real, the palpable physical wealth that comes along with this spiritual wealth. And so I don't know, it feels really exciting that this time is a time of us finally coming back in our body. Like literally, we've been out there trying to help ourselves and each other claim back our soul fully and completely. I'm whole, I'm autonomous, all my energy is mine. And mom is saying this too. She's saying, all my resources, all my energy are going to fold back into me for those beings that are in alignment. All else has got to go. Come into alignment. And is this alignment energy, that flow that we saw in the Capricorn new moon activation of the spiritual waters, the spiritual flow and energy joining back together with the trauma timelines? You know, just harmonizing, soothing, healing, you know. And is that us? We've been just waiting and waiting and waiting. We're just like an empty vessel waiting for the spiritual energy to come back so that we can soothe and heal and harmonize just by existing. You know, there's nothing you need to go do or figure out or fix or make money doing right now. It's just not going to work. New paradigm. Tell yourself every moment, it's a new paradigm. Every moment is a new paradigm. And how can we be in the fluidness of that? And the only way is to be with her and to come back into this trust. And the more you feel that, the more you can feel the other people who have come back into this trust. And, you know, you can face anything. Again, there's just this parallel between the what was shown to us and shared with us of the energy and the soul of Yeshua and Mother Earth. Um, Everything that he showed us we could do and more, and it's about our light body coming into our full potential. And it's like her ascension and our ascension. And so in the dynamic times where there is no set future programmed into our reality, that's what's ending. Then we're in that super dynamic time where you just don't know. One little action here or over there is the spooky effect of, you know, oh, I think we might be interconnected. Do you think? Oh, it's just spooky. It's going to be pretty spooky, I think. And as we just kind of settle in to embrace the disclosure of so much that's been hidden from us, we will not stand for it anymore. The suppression and the censorship and the lies, and the suppression of our light, our love, our power, our talents, our skills. The world is waiting for you. And it's really hard because it's kind of like, well, I'm trying to shut the door. It's kind of like this picture of this hallway, and then you can, there's a door into a whole new, different way, right? And you're trying to shut this door, and this door is like, they're after you, they're coming for you, you're not safe, you're going to get punished, they're going to steal everything, they're going to attack you. Like, it's this PTSD that we've all been triggered into because just the times we've been living in of past lives, you know? And it's like we're kind of trying to shut the door on that and be like, no, 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 that's not my reality anymore. And so that we can open. Because if those thieves and crooks chase us into this, no, we can't have that, right? We have to completely shut the door before we can open the new one. And the new one is like, they're cheering for you, you know, like, and just so ecstatic that you exist. So, yeah, going from hunted down to be killed and exterminated from this planet to being celebrated and honored as a blessing and a gift in a huge and real way. I don't know, that's a lot, you guys. So maybe it makes sense. Maybe nothing makes sense. It doesn't matter when you're in her arms. So let's meet there in that field of love and energy. So what we've got going on is we're just still feeling the end of the Venus interaction, and now Mercury's coming into the Chiron Black Moon Lilith opposition from the 20th, 25th, and we're moving into that new moon energy. And Jupiter turning direct, and then Mars, and also Mars coming into that square with Black Moon Lilith, square with Chiron, making that T square, Mercury involved, Grand Cardinal Cross. The cardinal signs are new starts, new beginnings. So that Cardinal Cross energy, we're just going to continue to feel that through, the opposition of Mercury and Mars will go through the 25th. And so it's kind of the energy of this whole week. It's a Grand Cardinal Cross. We can't get anywhere until we make this correction. And this correction, Black Moon Lilith, deep dark secrets from bad secret relationships, controlling us and taking our freedom and our life force, Chiron and Aries, which we're going to fight for and never give up. And so drama as Mercury interacts with that, and then Mars interacts with that, and the Mars interaction will take us, like I said, Mars turning is going to go back to 17 and turn right around and come right back into that square with Chiron and square with Black Moon Lilith. So that's just going to go on. And so the pressure's on, and we want to look at that Mars direct, because Mars direct is the 2nd of February, and I'm sorry, Mars direct is the 24th of February. And so we have about a month till Mars turns direct. And so the whole time that Mars is completing this retrograde, Black Moon Lilith and Chiron continue to be opposite of each other. So it's telling us that that's what this Mars retrograde is about. We know it's an inner journey, an initiation. Our wounded warrior going back to the mother saying, oh gosh, this is what matters. And like just the feelings of regret and separation, and like, oh, can I even receive the mother's love after I denied it for so long? Do I deserve it? Is it real? And so this is what we're figuring out with Mars back in Cancer, but really highlighting the Black Moon Lilith opposite Chiron, where we have to find the truth of the deep dark secrets of having made contractual arrangements with the wrong people or entities that stole our freedom, our life force, our technology, our autonomy, and take it back. And we do that by bringing everyone, the warriors, going back to the mom, to the mother, the warrior's army this time is those that have come back to the mother. And it's a glorious army of light that just moves everything in its path. And you're there. You're in it to win it. There's no getting out now. Only way out is in, back to source center, and that's mom. She is the one. Father God is way too punishing. He's something out there. It's like, meh. Mother is the womb that we all came from, and the source, and she is the only one that can. We must go through her, right? Through her belly, through her womb, to rebirth into this world, to rebirth into Christ consciousness timeline, to come back to God, if you want to call that source God, then we have to go through her. See, it's all mixed up and upside down. And isn't it about time we get the true story? Right? It's like, all right, because you can feel that the danger has passed as far as like the big scary things they've been trying to do with us. And so now we go disclose, now we tell the truth. Now we knock on the doors of the halls of Amenti and say, open that shit up. Underneath the Vatican, what's been hidden from us? It's time for us to know fully and completely who we really are. And I think that's the beginning of what's happening with this sun coming to Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius. It's like, oh, who you were in the Piscean age was running for your life. Who you are in the Aquarian age is a rock star with the light body, a robe of light. Welcome to New Hollywood. And so here we go, and let's do it, right? And so that means for us, we're taking every moment of every day to be present and know that this is true, to know that this is our reality, that the Gaia code's what it's meant to be, what we're meant to be, living and breathing and loving and healing and imagining ourselves as Mother's Garden, in Mother's Garden, breathing this healing, hydration, and love for everyone around us and harmonizing it all. So we're just called to be there. I think in other times we'd be going to our sacred places, right? To the cave, to the teepee, to the long roundhouse, to the sweat lodge, to the temple where we come together and we sing and we dance and we pray because it's that time. And so meet me there on the astral plane. It's always fun when we do those on the activations, is go to these places and these sacred places that we've been to in past lives. And, the energies of these places, that they've found in studies that the vibrational resonance will continue long after the people are gone. People go to a very powerful spot on earth and do an intense ceremony, intense bonding together. That energy lives in that place. Imagine that. These places where for lifetime after lifetime we've gone and prayed and meditated together. And now we get to go back to these places together. It's going to be so powerful. No wonder they haven't wanted us to get together. And so we got to start doing it on the astral plane first, like meet up, go to the sacred places, feel the energy of all the other souls that are ready to meet up and do what we're here to do, and just chomping at the gate and just be in the truth of that there's so much more, and we don't even have to know what it is, what it looks like. We don't have to figure it out, she says. Just rest in my arms, bask in my love. Let that move you. If it doesn't move you, just wait and keep breathing. Wait until it moves you. It will move you. Wow. So very, very powerful times. And it's intense that so the sun is having the Pluto conjunction tomorrow. And then we talked about how Mercury is the last planet in Capricorn before we don't have any planets in Capricorn, finally, And so Mercury comes up to a Pluto conjunction on the 29th, the same day as that new moon. So Mercury will be moving over into Aquarius, conjuncting up with Pluto, and Pluto will then not quite, it'll still be at 1 degree then. Goes to 2 degree on the 30th. And so that new moon is very powerful with Mercury conjunct Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius, and the sun and the moon at close to 10 degrees Aquarius in trine to Jupiter at 11 degrees Gemini. An air trine. This is speaking to the new renaissance, is speaking to what we want to express, what we want to bring forward, because it's not just the telling the truth of the lies. It's not just bringing forward the suppression. It's about new ideas, new technologies, new experiences, and the interplay, bringing back together science and spirit in the new renaissance, an expression of the creative forces as a way to heal. Moving the creation energy through being creators, through art and music and architecture, sharing what's inside of us with each other in this glorious, glorious discovery and celebration of who we really are. And this is now uncovered. This is the sun Pluto. So that Mercury Pluto is powerful, and I will just see what it feels like to have that Aquarius new moon, Chinese New Year, a very clear line in the sand, Pluto moving to 2 degrees, and that Mercury moving out, no planets in Capricorn. We'll kind of see what that's like. And then Jupiter turning direct on the 2nd. Mars turns direct at the end of February on the 24th. So we're just continuing to ratchet up the story, the game. And yes, we're still held at the gate a little bit. We're still trying to figure out our way out of the maze of the matrix, but we know that we're on our way out. And so just be present and be in love and let those spiritual energies come back into your life. Celebrate them and love them. Talk to your water when you bathe, when you drink water. Talk to your body, the waters of your body, and tell yourself that you're loved and cared for and walking with the mother. Tell yourself you're abundant and you're becoming who you're meant to be, who you really are. this world is becoming who it really is, what it really is, and what it's meant to be. Her dream, and we've got that dream encoded in our DNA, and so it's time to step up and play the role we came here to play. And so dust yourself off, pick yourself up. I know it's really hard, just the day-to-day reality has been so incredibly challenged, but this is changing. So hang in there, supernova souls. It's a new dream. And that's the energy of this next week, as we have Venus sextile Uranus, conjunct Neptune, and heading into that new moon. So we also have all those squares and that tension. So just keep receiving the correction, being absolutely present in the gift of whatever's happening, and live and breathe and be in the energy of what it is we came here to do together. It's happening now. It's landing. Nothing can stop it. We've had a crucial turning point, and now it's mop up and moving into the new world. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for your donation. If you appreciate that this this video doesn't have any ads blocking up our sacred space, that revenue, and you'd like to make a donation, that would be a huge help. And so there's a link to donate in the information box below. I hope to see you that new moon activation, Chinese New Year, Year of the Snake. Starting that whole process. That's going to be on Tuesday, January 29th. So watch out for that. And thank you so much for your support, being part of the Supernova Soul Tribe. You joined that membership. It's $20 a month, and that gets you into the activations and special updates and resources for Supernova Souls. So thank you so much for your support, for being here, for going through all you've gone through, and just come to the cave, come to the sacred space, come to the temple, wherever it is you can see yourself joining together with the other souls that are in vigil right now with you for this new earth, this rebirth of us, because we cannot get there except through her. Thank you so much for your service. I can't do it without you. And so now we got to put ourselves back together. We have to do it for each other, because we can't go forward without each other. And there comes a point in our journey that we can have help along the way, but there comes a point, at some point in the hero's journey, in the supernova journey, in this great story that we're playing out, that we have to do it alone, that we have to stand in our lives. And I think a lot of us are being given an opportunity, and it feels like we're being put back in prison, but it's actually our opportunity to stand in our new freedom. So we know how far we've come, and that we can establish a new energy to move forward with. So be patient with yourself. Keep loving yourself. Radical self-care. Just keep taking care of yourself so that you can continue to give, And we'll keep taking care of Mother so she can continue to give to us. And isn't it beautiful? We'll just keep taking care of each other in the way it's meant to be. So it's a beautiful world, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thanks so much for being here. I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.